What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Kevin, and in today's video I'll be going over this table saw right here. This is a new addition to the shop, and this is a sliding table saw. I've been looking for one of these for quite a while now, and I just ran across this last week, and it was complete and I liked it. It didn't have much use, and this is something that I think I'll put to really good use in this shop. So what I'll be doing is I want to go over kind of a complete restoration of this saw before I put it back in service, and I'm going to share that experience with you guys. So let's go over some of the parts I got with this saw. Right over here I got the extension arm, the overarm actually, the dust collection overarm that collects the dust from the top of the blade. This is the hold down clamp on the extension table. On the sliding extension table. This saw has two tables, one extension to the right, then you have a sliding extension to the left. Here I got the 54-inch Beismeyer fence. This is the fence rail. These are the extension table to the right legs. This is the bracket that holds that extension table to the right. This is the other bracket that holds the fence rail. And here on the ground I got the sliding and miter extension table. It has this aluminum fence here with a couple stops on it, one there, one here. And this thing right here is a 100-pound chunk of steel sliding bed made out of some cast iron, and it's got some hardened ground ways under. We'll go over those in a minute. Here's a shot of the hardened ways underneath the steel bed. You have one flat way over here, a round one in the center, and another flat way on this side. So this is the condition of the ways. I started cleaning them up a little bit here with a Scotch-Brite pad, and it looks like they clean up really well. These ways, they ride on this 3-bearing system here. You have a flat bearing here. You have these two shaped conical bearings over here that pipe shape way rides into, and then you have another flat bearing over here for that third way. This is the brochure that came with the saw, and this is a shot of how she's supposed to look like when it's all put together. Now let's go over the things that I want to fix on this saw. First of all, let's start with this arm here. This is a sliding table arm, and I don't know if you can see here, it's got some play in it, and the play comes from this joint right here. It's got a little play in this joint, and also there is play over here on this joint. That's one of the first things I want to address. Second, this saw has this, I don't know, wobbly handles. I don't understand why these things are so loose in here. It looks like they have a screw, or somebody put a screw here to hold it better onto the shaft, but these things, yeah, I really don't like this, so this has to be addressed. That'll be the second thing. And the second one doesn't disappoint, as in the same exact shape. They have a very weird, kind of like an Allen wrench style thing, and I'm gonna have to address this, fix this with some sort probably of some stock shim material and a set screw to hold it onto position. Another thing I have to address is the start stop switch. I think that at one point in time the original switch stopped working, and this guy's kind of rigged this switch in here. This looks like it's a Telemechanique magnetic starter, and it's the right starter actually. It's a good starter. It's got a protection right here, 17 to 23 amps, so it's the right starter for this motor, for the 3 horsepower motor. Yeah, all these things are loose. This cable was just put in here just so I can test the saw. Other than that, the table, the cast table, is in very good shape. Needs a little bit of cleaning. I'm going to remove all this rust off of it, and the same thing with the sliding bed over there. I'm going to remove all the rust off all the ways and kind of see if they need some fixing, some welding, some whatever needs to be done. So let's get started. I'm going to start by cleaning up this saw, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I'll be using some simple green undiluted to kind of soak the parts a little bit, let them sit for a while, and then just wipe it off. If I need to use a Scotch-Brite pad to kind of scrub it, I'll do that. I started cleaning over here in this section, and as you can see, the paint under all this grime looks like new condition. While waiting for the other parts to soak, I can't wait to give this tabletop a try. I'm gonna have to go over this top a couple more times until I get it to the way I like it. This is how the machine looks like after a good cleanup. This took me about a couple hours to get it done. I'm just gonna give you a quick walk around. She cleaned up really good. Next step is to start cleaning the underside of this sliding bed. I will be cleaning all this surface rust off of this ways using the same WD-40 and Scotch-Brite pad. I'll also be cleaning the painted surfaces, and we'll go from there. This is the end result of a good hour of cleaning. I'm very pleased with the way she turned out. I have a couple of bumps and scratches on this ways. I don't know if the camera can pick these up right here. And this is exactly where the bearing rides, and I can feel them with my fingers. So I'm gonna take my grinder and try to sand this nice and flat, and the same, I have a little bit of them right here. I'm gonna try to get those nice and flat too, so I won't have any problems on this rails or right onto those bearings over there. It feels a lot better now. On this side of the bed, I'm going to be using my grinder. I attached the Scotch-Brite pad to the wheel right here, and hopefully this will go a lot faster. I think I'm good with this for now. I might run in the pad one more time after everything is assembled. For now, I'll just stick to this. Now, that was a mess. That was a complete mess, but we got it done. It's time to move on. So next I'll be pulling this bearings out and clean them all up and seeing what shape they are, if they have to be replaced or not, or we'll just go from there. This one here is barely moving, it's not doing anything. This one a little bit. This one is kind of stuck. This one moves a little bit better.
That is not what I expected. So I guess that this screw right here holds the bearing down into the shaft, and this shaft is being held by a set screw on the side here. So that means this set screw was kind of loose. That's why this whole thing came apart like that. I added some mineral spirits into this container, and now I'm going to throw in all these bearings and kind of let them soak in there for a little bit. And we'll come back in about half an hour. It's been a long day. Finally done with all these bearings, screws, washers, all the parts that I need to put the saw back together. So let's get to it. The way this bed is being adjusted is these bearings ride on this eccentric shaft, and the way this whole thing works is when you rotate this shaft that the bearing sits on, being eccentric, is going to push the bearing up or down. So I'm going to just demonstrate for you how this whole thing works. I'm going to hold the screw into one position, and I'm going to twist the shaft, and then you can see how the bearing goes up and down. The roller bearings for the center pipe shaped way, one of them is non-adjustable. It's just centered with a bearing. So this will be mounted first into the guides, and the second one is adjustable, and this will be mounted after the bed is in place. Once you have the bed in place, then you tighten the roller bearing onto the shaft, and then you set the screw on the side here. Let's mount all these bearings back into the saw. Here's a shot of under the bed and how all the bearings function. So next I'm going to be installing the second concave roller bearing, so this bed won't tip over. Using an Allen wrench, I'm going to be tightening this bearing onto the shaft, and then I'm going to set the screw on the bottom here. Yeah, this definitely fixed the problem. The only play I have now, it's in the back on the second joint, but this one over here is pretty tight. There is no more play in it. Let's put this swing arm back together. I filed this enough to fit over the pin. Now let's put them all back together and see how everything works. Finally, all the way in. Let's check the play in here. And it's minimal, it just barely moves. Okay, so one more thing solved. To get rid of this wobbly handle, I cut a small piece out of an 8000 material. It was like a shim stock material, 8000s. So I just got a little shim. I'm gonna be putting it here underneath the shaft. I also drilled and tapped a set screw. That's a 6mm by 1. So let's see the fit right now with this shim in place. Wow, that was tight. Now let me tighten this set screw up. Okay, that's tight. Now let's check this handle. Does it still wobbles or not? Wow, that's pretty good compared to the way it used to be. There you go. Apparently this was made on 27/10/1993. The switches are easy to operate right now. They require a little bit of pressure, but once you stand, you have a different position of pushing the switches. You push them from the top, so they actually work a lot easier from the top pushing down. I took a couple days off from the restoration project and I built this nice mobile base for the saw so that I can move it around, and it's been a lot easier for me to work around the saw now that it's mobile. So now, because this base lifted me off the ground about 4 inches, I am cutting the legs of the extension table shorter 4 inches, and finally I can put this melamine extension top on, and I can put the fence bracket on and the fence itself, and I'll be done with this whole project. The video for the mobile base, I'm gonna put a link in the description below so you guys can check it out. The tabletop is done and this is how it looks. So next I will be mounting the bracket for the fence and the fence itself. The fence bracket came pre-drilled with 6mm holes, and I'm like, nah, that's way too small to hold this whole fence system in place. So I drill them out, and I'm gonna be using 3/8 bolts to secure this fence bracket and the whole fence system to the machine. Fence bracket is in place. I feel a lot better using those 3/8 bolts holding this bracket in place. Next, I'm going to install the fence rail. My next goal is to remove this rust off of this fence rail so I don't damage the shoes on the fence. Ever wonder why your fence is not running as smooth as it's supposed to be? That's because you get the surface rust on this ways over here, and then the fence starts to grab on them, and it's not as smooth as when it was new. So from time to time you're gonna have to take these rails out and check them out, see if they have some surface rust, clean them up really good like this, and then the fence will run like new again. So let's see how this fence rides in here. Wow, smooth as butter. Locks solid into place. Good. The sight on the fence is broken, so I gotta fix this. And also this sacrificial piece over here on the fence, I'm gonna replace this with a 1/2 inch solid HDPE. But what I want to do next is install the over the blade dust collection system. Let's see if we can get this overarm installed away on the saw. The saw restoration is finally done. It's been a long week. I'm very happy with the way the saw turned out. Now here's a shot of everything assembled and ready to go to work. I was able to dial in the fence, dial in the extension table and the sliding table, and she cuts very square and through. But any saw is as good as the cuts you can do, so let's do a few cuts and show you guys the result. I'm going to take this piece of Baltic birch. This is a 3/8 Baltic birch, and this is about 30 inches by 22 inches, and I'm going to cut it around 4 times. And every time I cut, I'm going to put the cut edge against the fence here, and when I'm done with all 4 cuts, I'm going to measure the piece to see if it's square. Now let's see how good we did. Okay, so let's measure this side first. It is 21 1/16. I'm gonna flip the board around to check the other end. And the other end is 21 1/16. Well guys, that's all I have for you today. I'm very happy with the way this saw turned out, and I know I'm going to be putting it to good use. Actually, I have to cut up a whole kitchen the next few days. If you guys enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, consider subscribing, and hit the notification bell button so you will be notified when I'm going to post future content.